Hey everyone, it's Megan. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel if this is your first time here. We're just gonna hop right into it. I was sent this video by a friend of mine who asked me to react to it, and I couldn't say no because the last Buzzfeed video that I watched that had to do with witchcraft was kind of disappointing, and the two people that were involved were fairly disrespectful. I didn't react to that one, but if you want to watch it, I'll link it in the description below. And I didn't want to react to it anyways because I had already watched it, and Jacqueline Glenn's video was better. So anyway, I was sent this video to react to, and it's by Buzzfeed from their Buzzfeed Unsolved network, which is kind of strange, but it's called We Joined a Witch Coven. So yeah, without further ado, let's watch it. And I haven't watched this video yet, so this is my genuine reaction. We'll see. I'm not hopeful.
If I bind this spell, be mine. I believe I bind this spell, be mine.
Are you technically a warlock?
Spell, be mine. I weave, I bind this spell, be mine.
Okay, first off, they joined a witch coven. So did they just join them for a ritual? Because the title seems a little misleading. Did they just join them for a ritual, or did they actually go through the process of being initiated and learning the mysteries of the coven or anything like that? I'm gonna say they probably didn't do that, and they didn't actually join the coven.
The last time we were together in a car was our trip to the Area 51 raid event.
It was a beautiful trip. Probably one of the best trips of my life. It was really lovely.
What do you all know about witches? When you think of a witch, tell me what you think of.
I'm thinking Anya Taylor-Joy. I'm thinking, Blair Witch. I'm thinking, I'm thinking Suspiria.
Witches is, I think, a group of women that do juices and magic works to make things happen.
Honestly, I don't even think so much about like the classic Wizard of Oz type like green face thing anymore. I think of a more kind of LA bougie, almost trendy, like crystals.
Well, guess what? We're joining a witch coven today.
Let's go.
We're gonna challenge our ideas, varied it appears, of what a witch is and what a witch does. And you know what? I have it on good authority that we're gonna partake in a ritual today.
Okay, so it's interesting to see that they all have different ideas of what witches look like and who witches are. The one person said that witches are groups of women that make juices and use magic words. And that's funny to me. And then the other person said that witchcraft or a witch, they think of bougie, LA hipster type of people that use crystals and things like that. I am curious to see what happens when their expectations and their thoughts maybe come crashing down around them. And this is also interesting because it speaks to how the general population sees witches and views witchcraft in general. And we all know that witchcraft has blown up online. It's become popular and trendy, and there's not really anything inherently wrong with that. A lot of people come to witchcraft through social media and pop culture. That's okay. And a lot of people come for a little bit and decide it's not for them and then they leave. That's a different topic, but it's interesting to me to see these people's reactions and ideas of what witchcraft is and what a witch looks like.
Nice.
Now I'm very excited. I don't know what type of ritual this is, but there is a coworker of ours at Buzzfeed who I'm not the biggest fan of. He's someone who I've opened the door for him several times, and he walks right through it without saying thank you.
Here.
I'm hoping that maybe this ritual.
Oh, maybe we could get
You're
back.
gonna cast a spell.
Maybe we can do something to
Yeah,
it.
you got vindictive real quick with it.
And just like that, we are here. Welcome to the Green Man. Get ready to meet some witches.
The Green Man.
Isn't this the same store that they went to in the previous BuzzFeed video?
Before the ritual, we wanted to get some background information on Wicca, so we traveled to the Green Man in North Hollywood to talk to an expert.
And in Jacqueline Glenn's video,
I need some help wrapping my head around what witches and their magical work can mean for wellness. Luckily, I know just the place.
like, there's nothing wrong with the store, but can they find other people and get a broader range of witchcraft and witches in general?
Store, a shop in North Hollywood. On top of providing magic and apothecary needs, it also serves the Los Angeles magic using community with teachings, rituals, events, and the ability to buy one's magical wares. To enlighten ourselves, we sat down with Carrie, one of the store's co-owners and the Dame Witch Mother and High Priestess of the Ked tradition, and Griffin, the store's manager and the Witch Father of the Ked tradition.
So you both are witches? Is that the...
Yes. Yes, that is how we would identify.
Are you technically a warlock?
God, no.
Yeah.
That is a very bad word.
Is it?
Yes.
In general, in the community, the term warlock has been used for many years to represent somebody who's an oath breaker, somebody who turns on their own.
Am I in trouble for having said that?
No.
Okay, great.
At least he understands now that some people don't like the term warlock. I haven't seen it used in the manner that a lot of us are often told, where a warlock is someone who is an oath breaker, who has broken the oaths of their coven or their tradition. But I've also never been in a coven, and I've never been in a formal tradition, so I don't know.
What is a witch?
Witch is kind of an umbrella term for people who practice the art of witchcraft. It's a word that used to have a very bad meaning. Witches were the people that did bad things to other people.
I mean, there's places in the world where witchcraft will still be seen that way, because the use of the word is for negative, harmful, baneful magic in many cultures, but that's not how it is for people in today's witchcraft community.
In regards to magic use,
I'm glad he brought that up, because in the United States, we're very sheltered. We're very fortunate to be able to openly practice witchcraft and openly say that we are witches, because there are parts of the world where you can die. You will be killed for saying that you're a witch, or even if you're suspected of practicing witchcraft or any other sort of magical art. So I'm glad that he said that. And I don't know what it's like in other countries. You know, I'm from the United States, so I can't speak to other countries, but I do know that even recently there have been articles and reports that have come out of people in other countries that have been killed or arrested for practicing witchcraft. If I can find those links, I'll leave them in the description below, just like normal.
what is the difference between witches, Wiccans?
There's Wicca and then there's witchcraft.
Oh,
And
yeah.
some Wiccans are witches. Magic isn't something that everybody practices. I look at this as an art more than a religion. I mean, Wicca very much identifies itself as a religion, as a God-centered religion.
So that's the biggest difference between what that is and what we are.
You all do not identify as Wiccan.
No, we do not identify as Wicca. There's a lot of people who, in Wicca, are working a very potent, very pure, magical, religious, spiritual movement. And without them, we wouldn't have the community that we have today.
Thank you. Okay, so Wiccans get a lot of hate in the witchcraft community, but without Wicca and without the movement behind Wicca, the witchcraft community would not be what it is today, period, point blank. That's all I'm saying on that. Stop hating on Wiccans.
While the history of witchcraft couldn't possibly be abridged to fit this small VO segment, it's worth pointing out that some sort of folk magic has been practiced by nearly every civilization for hundreds and hundreds of years. As Christianity became dominant, those who practiced witchcraft were persecuted. This pushed practices of magic and witchcraft into the shadows. As Griffin explains, witchcraft saw a revival in the 1940s and 50s. As outdated witchcraft laws were repealed, a man named Gerald Gardner established what was called Gardnerian Wicca, which combined folk magic and earlier practices with society's new and changing values. As Griffin points out, not all witches are Wiccan, and not all Wiccans are witches or even practice magic.
I'm not sure about that part, that Gardner incorporated folk magic and older practices into what he created. Not being a scholar or somebody who has really studied the history of Wicca in general, I can't say for sure about that, but it doesn't sound right. But again, I don't know. I could be entirely wrong on that. So if you know, let me know in the comments.
We also wish to make it clear that Griffin and Carrie are by no means speaking for all witches, as many different traditions and practices exist.
So what is
Nice.
the type of magic that you practice, or what are some of the things that you use it for?
The form of traditional witchcraft that we practice is the idea that if you're born with a certain predisposition to work the art, if you have the ability to perceive subtler spirits in the world, and you start to develop your ability to commune and to push fate with magic, then you're practicing witchcraft.
You've used the phrase pushing the hand of fate
Yeah,
a couple of times.
very
And
cool.
so are you
Very
saying
cool, by the way.
so you're saying that we do have a predetermined fate, but you're able to manipulate that course?
We see Dane fate as the divine quality of spirit that keeps harmony and life functioning in the universe. So when you push the hand of fate, you're not following the path of least resistance.
I've been doing that for 30 years.
Even people, we have free will, but if you think about it, it's like, how often are we enacting free will? We make a choice, but we make what is the obvious choice as the door opens up.
In order to push the hands of fate and commune with the spirit.
That's an interesting way of viewing that. You know, I'm not going to comment on his beliefs or anything because they're his beliefs. But I'm going to have to mull that over and think about it a little bit, because I very much view witchcraft and magic as giving my life a helping hand or pushing situations or things in a certain direction and, you know, making the path easier. It doesn't always work, and that's okay. It's not going to work 100% of the time, but it is like tilting the scales in my favor, if that makes sense.
Spirits ourselves, we asked Jill, one of the store's co-owners and a clan member of the Coven, to show us around the store.
We're in this beautiful, beautiful space. This stuck out to me as quite a surprise.
Why
It's
would
a
a
cauldron.
cauldron surprise you?
So I think what I was trying to do is overcorrect possibly for what I thought I saw in the movies being stereotypical.
My mind went the same way, but with the brooms over there.
Right?
See, I thought broomsticks were also another
Oh.
pop culture invention associated with witches.
We do all sorts of things
Wow,
with brooms.
that's very cool.
But not travel.
We do not fly on the brooms, literally.
Literally.
Now, to us uninitiated, this seems evil.
I say yes. So one might think, oh,
That's another thing that Hollywood did.
Yeah. What goes on top of the Christmas tree?
Yes.
A five-pointed star.
Yes.
my mind's been blown, honestly.
This might be one of the things that I see Instagram influencers adopting.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, crystals are really, really popular on Instagram, and you know, I just did a video about my views on crystals. I'll link it somewhere if you want to watch it. I like how he approached the question about the pentacle without being disrespectful. At least for me, I don't feel like he was disrespectful, because you know, he held it up and he didn't say, I think this is evil. He posed the question that a lot of people have. And I have worn a pentacle before where, you know, I've gotten questions, don't you know that's Satan's star and you're going to go to hell? So it is a very popular preconceived notion that the general public has about the pentacle. And I appreciate that he asked the question, because anybody that watches this is going to realize that at its foundation, it's a star with a circle around it. Any meaning that it has is not inherently evil. It's a shape. The meaning is given to it by the magical person that chooses to use it, or the non-magical person that chooses to use it.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that
We ran out of carnelian because
Of TikTok.
Oh, my yeah.
These crystals and kind of how social media has claimed them to some extent. How much of that would you say has any validity?
It has some
Yeah,
validity. It really does.
I
It's
mean,
just,
we wouldn't carry them if they were useless.
right.
Okay, so that question kind of rubs me the wrong way, because he's saying, what I'm understanding basically is like, you know, you have all these things, but does it really work? Like, is it useless? Is it valid? I don't think that was the right way to approach that question, because obviously to people that use crystals, and even to these people that sell crystals, obviously they have some form of validity, as I'm sure they're about to say. Or they did say.
So I'm noticing a theme that can you tell me about maybe this piece here, or perhaps this fun-shaped man there?
Oh, you're talking about penises.
I am seeing no shyness around sexuality in a lot of this. Is that something that permeates through witchcraft?
No shyness about sexuality.
Oh, yes.
That is, this is the Sheila gig, and she's actually, you will find her actually carved like underneath seats in churches when the laborers were making the church, the woodcutters and the furniture builders and the stonemasons. Christianity was an overlay, but they still had their family practices, so they'd put their little gods and, you know, and the Green Man's all over churches.
As our tour concluded with a visit to the Green Man's incredible apothecary, the time for the ritual was close at hand.
Is that going to get me demonetized? Anyway, it doesn't matter. I wish they would have expanded on that a little more, because in a lot of witchcraft practices, there is no shyness from sexuality and nudity and the reality that is the human body. Because a lot of us, in my experience, you know, we were brought up with shame about our bodies and what our bodies can do and what they're capable of. But then when we come into the practice of witchcraft, or if, like me, a lot of people come into witchcraft through Wicca, there is a sense of duality and a theme of duality that runs throughout a lot of witchcraft practices, where, you know, masculine and feminine, phallic and what's the word? The other word. The penises and vaginas, you know. We don't really shy away from that because it's part of nature, and we are part of nature. And that can be very powerful imagery for some people. And I do wish they would have expanded on that a little more. But I can understand why they wouldn't on YouTube, because this part might get censored.
And while my comfort level with magic was certainly increasing, the tales of the evils of witchcraft were still to an extent echoing in my ear.
We both have an interesting experience with religion. Buddhist monk.
I was a Buddhist monk for a little bit.
I grew up Southern Baptist, and so the idea for me of witchcraft was always this being a dangerous thing to get involved in.
Yeah.
Where does that come from?
Back in the day, the business of religion is to put the priesthood in between the congregation and the divine. So they weren't punishing women and men because they were doing herb crafting or they were doing a little bit of magic. Problem is if you could access communication with the gods, you're challenging their business structure.
It sounds very anti-Christian, and we are not anti-Christian on this channel. I don't have the historical knowledge to really speak on how Christianity overtook a lot of other religious practices and how folk magic is now hidden within Christianity, or sometimes not so hidden. But yeah, it probably does have a lot to do with Christianity and how anything not of Christianity is of the devil. But there's probably a better way of explaining things. I don't know. I hesitate to really speak on a lot of it because I have Christian friends. I have Christian friends in this community, and I have spoken with Christian witches. And while the church in general has done horrible things, I don't feel like it is right to lump Christians in with the church. So I guess we'll just see what the rest of it is that he's going to say.
Could you, if you wanted to, do baneful magic?
Of course.
Do you have the ability?
It's interesting for me to hear that you can do baneful magic, because there's a coworker of mine. I've opened the door for him. He's walked right through without saying thank you at all. I'm curious to see if, maybe there's some sort of ritual or something we could do to teach him a lesson. No, I don't mean.
Seriously, if you're going to do baneful magic for something that petty, it's not worth it.
Yes!
It's twice.
Oh my gosh.
Twice he's done this to me.
I'm so glad she said that, because he's talking about, I have opened the door for my coworker and they don't say thank you. Okay, that's really not worth doing baneful magic over, in my opinion. If you're gonna do baneful magic over something petty like that, it's really not worth it. You could instead just say, hey, is everything okay? Maybe they've had a bad day and they just don't realize that they haven't said thank you. Or maybe you could do some sort of, communication spell to open the doors for communication between the two of you. My ferret is drinking water. Never fails. Anyway, baneful magic is, in my opinion, there's no point in doing it for petty things like that.
When it comes to baneful magic, magic is magic, and witchcraft, you can use it any way you want to. But if you understand that in your actions and your choices and how you're going to apply magic, then you become co-creative in the reality that you finish up living in. So if you're doing baneful and negative magic to people, that's going to be applied also to you. You're going to finish up surrounded by people who are basically baneful type people.
I don't think I quite understand what he means. Maybe he's saying, if you're willing to do baneful magic over something petty, you're going to end up surrounding yourself with other witches and friends and stuff who are just as petty. And yeah, I can understand that's not a good thing. But I don't know if he's saying what I hear echoed in a lot of communities about karma and the threefold law and, your negative magic is going to come back to you. I'm not entirely sure where he was going with that.
All right, we had our dinner.
A little din-din, a little pre-magic din-din.
And then they all disappeared to go up to the temple where we're about to join them.
I'm excited.
For a little, they call it a work, not a ritual.
They've been up there for a bit. Brendan's excited, I can tell. He's
we ready? Is everybody ready?
I'm excited.
At least they're excited.
Put our hands in the middle or something in case anything happens up there.
Cute.
Whatever bad things happen, then we take it to the grave.
I don't like that preconceived notion. And I don't like it. Whatever bad things happen, we're never going to tell anybody.
Oh, God. All right, let's go. Come on.
I'm excited.
We did this.
It goes in with the preconceived notion that
suspense for
it's going to be bad.
But now it's drumming up real suspense.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
The energy is too much.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh.
This is,
I'm honestly a little intimidated.
I'm nervous now.
Yes, it's the lighting, the cauldron, the robes. It's definitely.
It's just big enough to get bits of you in. We'd have to chop you up first.
I'm nervous laughing.
We're not going to do that tonight. We're just going to do a working. And so working's a spellcrafting, and we're just going to basically do one of the earliest forms of traditional witchcraft spells, which is a witch's ladder. I've got 3 different pieces of cord that I'm going to work with, only one of them. So it really depends on what we're going to do a working for. And I wanted to throw that out to you and ask you. We could, for example, do a cursing on all people that don't say thank you when you hold the door.
Thank you, Griffin. That's what I like to hear. But hey, you know what? We won't. I've learned better. Thanks to you.
Good.
We don't open the door.
I do see, feel like I see fire implements. Is fire involved?
Yes. Fire is a portal. We call it the flaming door.
Oh, that's cool.
Flaming. I like
That's
that.
nice.
That sounds like a
band name.
bar.
Basically what I'm doing is I'm creating a spell of spirits, of 9 sequential spirits, that then, once it is released, it will set about changing the quality of spirit for whatever it's tasked to. And then that will be the foundation of a new movement into something else. It will manifest itself in the world from the spirit out. So then the question is, what am I doing a spellcrafting for?
Well, if this show could work.
Let's do that, yes. To make this video a success. Tell the spirits that the flagship show Unsolved is ending, and so we need help.
The prosperity of this show, okay.
Huh. I like that he turned around and said that they're not going to do a curse. I also really appreciate that they're showing the ritual or the working, as these people have said, just as it is. There's not a lot of extra theatrics or effects, because 9 times out of 10, this is what witchcraft looks like. This is what a working looks like. One person or a group of people standing in a room with their implements in whatever ritual garb they decide to wear, and there's laughter and energy building, and it's not some Hollywood show to put on. And I really appreciate that they showed it in this true fashion.
Okay, just a little bit of room.
Oh, please.
Just a little bit.
So we'll
You're good there.
We'll stay.
We just needed you a little bit further. We've already worked the space somewhat, so the space is already sacred temple for us. Light and dark are turning, luck be in the burning. Light and dark are turning, luck be in the burning. Light and dark are turning, luck be in the burning. Wind stir, wind blow, round and round and round you go. Wind stir, winds blow, round and round and round you go. Wind stir, winds blow, round and round and round you go. By my witch's breath, and by this knot of one, before the gods, this spell is begun. By my witch.
I can't tell if they're laughing or if they're just enjoying the energy of the ritual. Because that was my issue with the first Buzzfeed video, is the 2 people were really disrespectful of the ritual that they took part in. And I can't tell if these 2 people are laughing about the person chanting and the rest of the group walking in a circle as part of the working, or if they're just excited and saying like, oh my gosh, you know, whatever they're saying. I don't know.
Witch's breath, and by the knot of 4, let the work be done and cast through the flaming door. By my witch's breath, by the knot of 9, this spell is mine. I weave, I bind, this spell be 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 mine. Oh, that's accepted. Oh yeah, babe.
Did you hear their exclamation? love that they're showing this type of work, because I like to use a lot of rhyming words and a lot of chanting in my work, because it puts me into an altered state of consciousness, and it really puts me into a good headspace for whatever work it is that I'm doing, rather than just, you know, standing at an altar, lighting some candles, and burning some herbs. The chanting and the music and the drumming, I don't think they're using drums here, but it really, really helps get me into that headspace. And I know I'm not the only person that works that way, or that finds that method effective.
Well, it looks like we'll be seeing a lot more of each other.
Now we get to see if their spell works, because this came out on November 27th. So I guess we can see if their channel grows,
Cool, and
or
also
if
coming from a
this
good place, like there was so much heart in it.
series
It was
goes.
a lot more earnest than I was anticipating, maybe.
Those were great, lovely people who I want to hang out with more often,
Yeah.
even outside of Witchcraft.
Well, we'll all have to come back because we have a show now.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't get to curse, but we'll get that done another time.
Overall, as an experiment in getting myself out of my comfort zone and into groups that I'm maybe not the most comfortable with, I think that was a great success.
You know, going into this, my mind was obviously riddled with a lot of preconceived notions, stereotypes about witches, and I was looking forward to trying to see how they'd be kind of, you know, shattered, and today definitely delivered on that.
Parts of it seemed scary, but overall, it just seemed kind of nice.
Do I believe the working will actually result in anything? That I don't know. But I can say that I'm very grateful that I got to have the opportunity to do that, and with some really cool witches.
I think they were wonderful people, and I could see the humanity behind what it is they do. So, yeah, we made some new friends. And they're witches.
Okay, so overall, I don't think it was bad. It was interesting, of course. And obviously there were some theatrics in the ritual to make it more palatable for YouTube. But I think they were mostly respectful. Obviously, I don't know everything that went into them making this video, all of the conversations that they had privately between themselves and the people that they were participating with. But I enjoyed it, actually, which is surprising. I do wish they would have gone to another store, but maybe the Green Man is the only store in the area that is willing to open up and let them come inside and do interviews and whatnot, because this is now the third video of people talking about witches that have used that store. But anyway, yeah, I enjoyed it. I really enjoy seeing how other people partake in ritual and what other people believe. So this was a good experience for me, even just watching the video. I hope it was a good experience for the people that participated in seeing the ritual from this particular tradition and their coven. And I hope that the people that watch this video learn something and get rid of some of their preconceived notions of witchcraft and witches. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, what you think about how they approached it, and if you think they were respectful. I still would like to know what they were saying and what they were talking about when it looked like they were laughing during the ritual, because that part bothers me. But anyway, that is today's video. If you would like to hang out with some magical people, feel free to join my Discord server. The link for that is in the description below. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, or a thumbs down if you didn't. It's okay. And make sure you're subscribed if you're not already, and I will see you next time. Bye.